This is going to be a cool exercise. What kind of grandparent are you? Are you fun, formal? Maybe you're a faraway grandparent? To Grandma Kathy Buckworth is here to break down the 5 types of grandparents. And this isn't something that you've cooked off the top of your head. This is a study.
It's a study that was done by Psychology Today, and it was done actually quite a while ago, but this year is the year that the oldest Gen Xers are turning 60.
Okay.
They were born in 1965. So a lot of them are becoming grandparents for the first time. And I think we heard the term grandparent, we have this image of, oh, it might be Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, or it might be Kim Kardashian's mom, it might be, you know, Kris Jenner, it might be these different types of grandparents. So what type are you? What type do you hope to be? And maybe it's built off of what type did you have yourself.
Yes.
So you know what type you want to be, or maybe
don't want to be.
Exactly right. So the first one that they identified was the formal grandparent. And that's more like, it's a bit of hands-off relationship. You know, they might pat them on the head, could you not bring them to dinner? I'll see them before they go to bed.
You're quiet.
They're quiet. There are advantages to that because then they're not involved in the day-to-day. They tend not to give you parenting tips and things like that because they don't know and they're not as close to the kids. But the disadvantage, of course, the kids aren't getting as much of their grandparents and learning the family history as they might. Then there's ones I call the fun-seeking grandparents. Those are ones that are still, they might be working as well as being very active in their life. They're out in the world. They're not sitting at home baking cookies, but maybe they're taking the kids on adventures with them, encouraging them to ski.
That would be you.
That would be it. My husband takes the kids out skiing, which is awesome. But some of the disadvantage to that kind of grandparent might be what I call the Peru and pickleball crowd, because they're either traveling or they're so busy they're like,
okay,
I can fit you in next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, right? And we're doing something fun. So you know, it's a great combination actually. Another one would be the faraway grandparent, which is not for lack of wanting to be close to the kids, but you just live far away. Either the kids have moved or you've moved.
And you had that.
And I had that, yeah. Especially during lockdown, we all experienced the faraway grandparenting. There are ways to get over that, of course, with video calls, phone calls, letters. When you visit, you really visit. That can be a downside because all of a sudden I'm here for 2 weeks nonstop.
Yes.
So how do you like me so far, you know? So, but it can be a great thing too to have that distance because the kids can travel and see you, etc. There's another one I call the feigning one, and that is basically if you feign something, you're sort of faking it, right? So they're not fake grandparents in the sense that they still see the kids and whatever, but they're kind of like see them once every 6 months, take a bunch of pictures and say, love spending time with the grandkids, and they're not really a part of their day-to-day lives. That can be fine also.
Yeah.
It just depends what you have time for.
And maybe that's a distance thing too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the familial one, and we talked about this one a lot, more involved with the day-to-day, which is amazing for child care, for helping maybe with meals, picking the kids up from hockey, like really invested in the family itself. Great upside that I just described. The downside is you might feel that you are involved with the parenting decisions. You know, I don't think they should have this for dinner. I got involved with the hockey coach. I'm mad at their teacher, you know. So you're sort of stepping into that parental role instead of letting the parents do the parenting. So that can be a bit of a downside.
So I had that with one set of grandparents where it was a familiar because just how close they lived to us and they looked after us. Like my grandma looked after us all summer long, kind of thing, and on, you know, a lot of like after school things too. And then the other set of grandparents that I had didn't live that far away, but it was because I still had so many aunts and uncles that were living there. That was the fun one to go to,
That was the fun one.
Yeah, so I had a great mix.
You did have a great mix. My grandparents, I only met a half a dozen times because they all lived in England. My parents emigrated.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel I had really a relationship with them. Like they were this very formal, sort of far away. And of course, far away back then, I'm talking about the 60s and 70s, there wasn't video calls and things like that. You know, even writing letters and stuff would be a bit different. So it's sort of interesting moving into this era now of the parents that were really the helicopter parents are going to be the grandparents. So how are the Gen Xers going to grandparents? Are they going to be looser with their grandkids? In terms of safety rules, are they going to be more strict? Are they going to be, you know, putting their own theories into the parents? So my only piece of advice on that would be if you do have different parenting philosophies than your kids have, keep them to yourself. I'm just going to say that because you need to respect they're the parent now and you're the grandparent. And again, you get to decide to some level what type of grandparent you want to be and how you want to be involved in that family. And I think most grandparents are able to find that balance, you know, with the parents.
It's kind of a communication, and maybe like with the first baby, maybe it changes over time, right?
Absolutely. And the first baby, of course, we were all desperate firstborn parents, and your kids will go through that as well. And so when you say they're fine, they're not fine to the first time parent. And really respect and understand that they're going through something you went through yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great tips.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll get your socials up on our website, chch.com/morninglive.